You may have heard of the almost 7,500-foot enormous wooden coaster, the Beast, or maybe the blazing fast 128-mile-an-hour Kingda Ka, but that pales in comparison to the origin of the Switchback Railway. This railway ran about 6 miles per hour and had an enormous 600 feet of coaster. And in 1884, you could go on the ride for just 5 cents. Now, in comparison to today's technical Goliath, it doesn't stack up as well, but every human feat had to have its humble beginnings. Just like the Wright brothers with the airplane, the roller coaster can be described as complexity at its simplest. You guys may have ridden rides at Kings Island in the past, or maybe you've gone up to Cedar Point and ridden some of the rides there. Or if you've never been, I'm sure at least Disney World's marketing team has done their job and you at least know what a roller coaster is. According to the Roller Coaster Consensus Report, there are over 5,500 roller coasters in production today. The first commercial coaster in America being the Switchback Railway. It opened at Coney Island in Brooklyn, New York in 1884. Its creator, L.A. Thompson, paved the road for how we see amusement parks here today. Now, first I want to talk about the fruition and some of the inspirations that came from that. Some of the oldest roller coasters were overseas in Russia in the 17th century, where they were built out of hills of ice called Russian mountains. They stacked about to be about 70 to 80 feet tall with a 50-degree slope and had wooden supports around it. They would take sleds and slide down each of the sides of it. This was so popular that even Catherine the Great had a summer version built at her estate and converted it from slides to an actual chair with grooves in it. So it ran down the track. These were built around, or hers was built at her estate, but some of the other Russian mountains were around St. Petersburg, placed around the palace gardens. Over time, these Russian mountains grew so popular that in the late 18th century, other entrepreneurs that went on these rides wanted to make some of their own. And so new innovations in Paris and other places around Europe started to crop up, including the first permanent loop track, which is called a centrifugal railway. Things became so popular overseas, but it wouldn't be for America, it wouldn't be until about the 1850s to 1880s that they would start to dip their toe in the gravity coaster business, which they actually kind of came into by accident, because in 1828, the Mauch-Chunk Railway, which was built in Pennsylvania, was actually initially built to take coal down the Summit Hill throughout the day. They would have mules that would take the coal up the hill, carrying all of these carts, and then they would fill all the carts up with coal and send the coal down the hill. And when they would use all the carts, they had a special mule cart that they would set all the mules in and then send the mules down the cart, which brings a new spin to the term, get your ass in the seat. But once everything was at the bottom, it took the mules about 4 to 5 hours for them to take all the carts up the hill. And at the end of the day, some of the coal miners would actually get off of work and go down the hill at the end of their day. But in 1872, the need for animal power subsided, and so the Central Railroad of New Jersey bought the line and actually leased it out to brothers Theodore and H.L. Mumford, who saw a market in being able to charge people to go down the hill. Now, the ride was slow at first, but by the time you get to the bottom, it would reach speeds of about 65 miles per hour. One of these passengers that went on that ride was L.A. Thompson, and he started to come up with his own ideas for what he wanted to do for his own park and for his ride. Now, he's known as the father of the modern American roller coaster. He was born in Jersey, Ohio on March 1st, 1848, and had over 30 patents on roller coaster technology over the course of his lifetime. One of those patents being the Switchback Railway that was not initially his, but one that he based his design off of. And for this one, the carts would go down the hill, and then they would get brought up by a pulley system to go down the other side, where he just used gravity on his way back up to get the carts back up. But he had an attendant that was up there that would catch the people as they were coming back up and bring them up to the side. And then once all the passengers would get off, they would take the cart and switch it to the other side, hence the name Switchback. And so it would just go left and right all day long. According to Robert Coker, who is the author of Roller Coasters, A Thrill Seeker's Guide to the Ultimate Scream, he said that L.A. Thompson was charging a nickel a ride and was making about $600 a day at that time, which in today's terms equivalates to about $20K a day. Now, it wasn't long before other people started to take notice and wanted to start doing their own coasters. So Thompson had to get creative. He decided to create his own railway company called the L.A. Thompson Scenic Railway. And he challenged himself to have more of a scenic and experience instead of just trying to make the carts faster, longer, or higher. He was going for more things like adding tunnels and adding lights and creating an environment that we know and love today for the roller coaster. Now, it's weird to think about the fact that if roller coasters did not exist today, would Disney still be rich, or maybe they would be a little bit more poor? Would automobiles not have come into existence yet? Our times might have looked very different. There are lots of questions that we could ask. But at the end of the day, I think it's very cool to say that we can pay somebody to think about how if I flew off the tracks right now, I would probably die. And then say, that's really cool, I'd like to go again. We have L.A. Thompson and the Switchback Railway to thank for that. Or if the next time you're on a coaster and you're really just filled with regret as you're about to go over to the top, you know who to curse. Thank you.